heard them sing, he paid the price and Jesus bore it all. I've heard them sing, I'm coming home, and heed the master's call. I've heard them sing the modern songs and songs of long ago. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. Amazing grace, so sweet the sound, oh how sweet is the sound. No sweeter song in this life could be found. Heard about the Savior's blood, washed as white as snow. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. It was the song my mother sang in sweet and humble voice. Like music from the world above, it made my soul rejoice. Its soothing words and melodies like the rippling waters flow. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. Amazing grace, so sweet the sound, oh how sweet is the sound. Sweetest song in this life could be found. Heard about the Savior's blood, washed as white as snow. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. Amazing grace, so sweet the sound, oh how sweet is the sound. Sweetest song in this life could be found. Heard about the Savior's blood, washed as white as snow. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. The sweetest, most wonderful song I know.
Yes, and welcome again. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Dove on the Window. I'm Pastor Jeffrey.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
And you are?
Oh, I'm Celia Jeffrey.
Oh, they would need
the
to know.
last time I checked.
They would need to know that. How y'all doing? Let's say a prayer as we run through tonight. Father in heaven, we bless your name. We thank you. Thank you for another day. Another day that has passed into eternity, oh God, never to return again. We thank you for the experience of the day and for the lessons that we learned. We thank you for your saving grace. We thank you for being concerned about us and for blessing us and providing for us. We thank you for the ability we have to reason one with another and to sharpen the sword, as it were, to help each other along the continuum of life. And even as this evening, Father, Celia, and I sit here to learn from the audience, to share, we ask that this would be another opportunity for us to move up, to move to another round of the ladder, to learn something more that would draw us closer to you, that would make us better as friends, as family, oh God. Guide us, those who are listening, whichever format they're using, oh God, television or YouTube, Facebook, whatever. May we all learn something tonight that would make us better, is our prayer in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Sister Jeffrey?
Hi.
How was your day?
My day was wonderful.
Had a good day?
Wonderful. I had a lovely day.
All right. So, what are we talking about tonight, Sister Jeffrey?
Well, intrapersonal, I-N-T-R-A-P-E-R-S-O-N-A-L, intrapersonal
awareness.
Yes.
But what is our general topic?
Our general topic is about emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And for those who were not listening last week when we continued, or for those who are not aware of what we're talking about, can you give the people an idea of what it is we're talking about? What is emotional intelligence?
Well, I will try as much as I can. Well, when we talk about emotional intelligence, we talk about how we are able to deal with situations, how we are, the understanding of what I'm supposed to do when something happens, and knowing how to do same. So it's not like I just know how, but I actually act upon it. So if I'm upset, how do I behave when I'm upset in a situation? If I'm sorrowful, how do I behave? How do I react? Whether it's to someone or in any situation. Basically, my intelligence, my understanding of how I'm supposed to behave when things happen, or I guess affect me, negatively or positively.
So,
I tried.
Yeah, you did. You did. I hope the folks understand. But I'm not done with you. I'm not done with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not emotionally intelligent, what are you?
Well, somebody said you are an emotional dunce.
You're emotional dunce. And so
You're an emotional dunce.
some people are emotionally
Duncified.
Emotionally dunce.
Yes.
And last week we gave an assignment. Remember that assignment?
What was the assignment?
We asked that the persons do something with their loved ones. Do you remember?
They were supposed to ask each other, as truthfully as they could.
Right. On a scale.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do they think their spouse's emotional intelligence, the rate, they had to rate
the emotional
intelligence, whether it was a 1, a 5,
so tonight the
10.
folks will call in to tell us how the spouse rated them based on the emotional intelligence. Now, what score did you give me last week?
I think what I said was it fluctuates. It fluctuates. Sometimes it's at a 7, sometimes it's at an 8, sometimes it's at a 9.
Okay, I was wanting to know that 7. Brother Softly, welcome. And again, I'm using a link. Thank you so much, Brother Softly and his dear wife.
Yep. So
yes. So my
it fluctuates. It fluctuates.
So we go from 7 to 9.
Yes, it fluctuates.
I ever get a 10? Was I ever a 10ly emotionally intelligent person? What?
I think here when I think of a 10, I was thinking, and I may be stretching this out too far. I was thinking about Adam before the fall.
Oh.
When I think
So
about
not even after the fall. So I don't get a 9 after the fall. Okay, good. Well, I'm in good company.
So you understand what I'm saying?
10 is ideal.
I figured 10 is ideal, but none of us right now are ideal. So I would think of ideal 10 being
the ideal
Adam before the fall.
Unfortunately, Adam before the fall.
It's after the fall.
Okay, all right. Okay. I must tell you that over the year, you didn't ask me, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to about how emotionally intelligent you are.
Well, I know I'm not a 10 because the 10 would mean that I was before Adam. So I must be an 8, a 9.
Hello, hi. Okay, now, hey, excuse me, audience. What? You're going to presume to determine how I grade your emotional intelligence?
Intelligence, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I know I'm not, but it's a possibility. 9, 8, 7.
Are you like begging?
Begging for what? No, I'm in a beg.
See, you rate up there. You're normally a stable.
No, I'm not.
You're normally an intellect and an emotionally stable person.
And that didn't come.
Wait, what kind of thing is this?
Okay, I know.
No, go ahead. No. Let me hear self-talk. Pretend I'm not here. Pretend I'm not here, and I'm not the one to give you a grade. And just go ahead and let me hear why you think you are all that and a bag of sliced bread. Go ahead, let me hear.
What I was going to say was if based on the score, I was saying that did not happen in one day. That had to progress over the years for me to understand who I am and the fact that I'm not supposed to allow other people to rule how I behave, how I treat them. So it didn't just come one day. And so it transferred, and me, I've had to practice, had you to practice with.
No, go ahead. Pretend I'm not here. Just talk about me. Let me hear the practice and things as well. Because I didn't get any. Normally, if you use somebody as a guinea pig, there is some kind of
it's
reward.
been years. It's been years.
But you're making my point, so that the reward should be more, should be compounded. But go ahead, tell me what you use me. Compounded, yeah, because
we can go to Las Vegas.
You can carry me. I go.
This, just as a, if you want a reward,
that is the reward. Over the years. I have a more simple way.
What's the way?
I don't know it. Tell me what you use me to do. This is good information.
To help me to be able to hold my emotions in check, so that if I'm upset with you about something, I don't react right away. I think about what I need to do, what I need to say, and it might happen that I don't say anything because it's not important at that moment. It's not important. It's probably, as we say, we're making mountains out of a molehill. So it's not even that deep. So because of that.
Let me just lean forward and fix this thing a little here. I am kind of.
Yeah, so basically, okay. That's what I've had to.
You use me to help you get better. And the reason what you're saying, it is my negativity that caused you to be better emotionally.
Exactly. That sounds hard. No, that sounds hard. But it's true. It's true. It's true. Because here's my thing. Growing up, when I was younger, don't let me say I was never a crybaby, really. I was never a crybaby. However, when people say things to me, I often would react. And a lot of times it was not necessarily in a positive manner. Somebody says something, it's almost as though it was a reflex action. And a lot of times it was not a healthy something. And I had a policy, if you want to say it like that I don't say sorry. So whenever I say something, that's exactly what it is I wanted to say. And as I said before, sometimes it was not necessarily a nice thing. So when I got married, I learned to I realized that we can't always allow people to have that make us have that reflex action on a negative way. Sometimes we might say somebody's witty. However, the wittiness can be seen as a negative reaction to something.
Good. And how did my being in your life help with that?
Okay. Let's say I said to Wenda, I need you to, let's say, change the light bulb. It's not like I can't change the light bulb myself, but we can just, hypothetically speaking, say, I said, Wendell, the bulb was blown in the pantry. Can you please put up a new one? And you might react and say, I can do that later. And later comes, and it's not done. Let's say I go in the pantry during the night, excuse me, and when I flick the switch, no light comes on. I may not get upset initially, but I think if I had to go do it again, then I would get upset. And I might come to you and say, rail off. What happened? I asked you to think how you don't fix it, whatever. However, emotional intelligence would have taught me that no, I go to you. If you're on the phone, if you're on the computer, I behave very nice. you know, to say, Wendell, excuse me a moment, can I have a word with you? And then I would say, you know, I had asked you, you know, to fix the switch. The bulb, and I noticed when I went there a few minutes ago that it's not fixed. You forgot? Did you forget? Would you like me to? You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
Good.
You know, what, I must tell you, and I was thinking about it as I was going through this week here. I was thinking that one of the reasons I love you for a number of reasons and all jumbly, right? However, one of the reasons I love you is, and I guess now that you're talking and we're discussing emotional intelligence, what I love about you, one of the things, the many things, right, is, and I say when I say this is gonna sound crazy, but I love how you allow me to be lazy.
Okay.
I love how you allow me to be lazy, in the sense that I hear wives complain about their husbands being lazy because a person might be on the computer, or they might be reading the newspaper, or they might be playing dominoes or engaging in something that is for downtime.
Okay.
And they have to lie to the wife, you know, and pretend that it is something else they're doing, because the wife would not allow them to sit and read the newspaper. They won't allow them to sit on the computer or on the phone, you know, especially if the wife is doing other work, meaningful work. If the wife is cleaning or cooking or washing, you know, they would not allow the husband to be lazy.
Okay.
And what I love about you is you allow me to be lazy.
To have the lazy time.
Yes, yeah. You allow me to be lazy, and you know, when I see how other men have to lie and fight and pretend, and how much trouble comes from the husband. I'm talking about the husband, right?
Yes.
The husband being lazy. I am blessed to have you. Come
Okay.
here. Let me give you. That's so nice.
Oh, so that was a kiss. What type of kiss was that?
That was a kiss.
A thank you kiss.
That was a thank you kiss, and that was
appreciative
payment,
kiss.
because I don't want what I'm doing where I'm saying that you owe me and the owingness is compounded. I don't want that to happen. So I'm paying
So you
up front.
paid
Right,
upfront.
right.
Okay. And you pay with a kiss.
Yes.
No, who tell you that? I wanted kiss as a
Well,
payment. Hopefully.
You acknowledge that the case was a payment. You're the who brought it up, you know. You acknowledge that payment, remember?
I was asking. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the kind of acknowledgement.
Oh, okay.
So
okay,
right,
okay.
so yeah. So I like how you and I like how you say that how you treat me is as a result of your emotional intelligence. That is a beautiful segue, because when we break down emotional intelligence into categories, one of the categories is intrapersonal. That is understanding your own self.
Yep.
Okay? Inter is between, we'll talk about that, between you and somebody else. That inter. Intra is me, introspection, right? So intrapersonal self-awareness has to do with the ability of one understanding one's feelings, right? Your personal feelings, to know you feel and why you feel the way you feel. You see, you got to take time. We have to take time to understand ourselves. So why do I feel happy? Why do I feel hurt? Why do I feel anger? We have to ask ourselves those questions. And a number of times we just behave. We don't give ourselves time to understand the why to our emotions. And sometimes when we act on the emotional feeling without assessing the whyness of the reason,
behind.
you can get into trouble. For instance, you might be married and you might find yourself sitting with a person of the opposite sex, at work or wherever, and you might find that this person makes you happy. It's not your wife or your husband, but the person just makes you happy. And because of that, you take that relationship to another level. So your emotion, the emotion you have is one of happiness, and you feel comfort this person around this person. But you don't assess
Why
your
do you feel
emotions.
yes?
And so you take you take that emotional feeling at the time
And you just build on it.
build on it in an unhealthy way.
Excuse me, yes.
Okay? Because you didn't take time to assess why this person makes you happy, and is it that you can find similar happiness with your spouse if you were to suggest to your spouse ways that your spouse can make you happy.
Yeah.
You see? Again, let's look at it in another way. You might be angry, but before you assess the reason for your anger, you act on it. And not realizing that the reason that you were angry might not have been justified. So you act on your anger without assessing, without the intrapersonal
Figuring out, why am I angry?
assessment. Why am I angry?
Why am I
And you
angry?
act on that. So emotional intelligence comes with your ability to slow down and to assess you and why you feel the way you do. Peradventure, you act on it in unhealthy ways. Go ahead.
Exactly. Because sometimes you can get mad with your spouse and your anger has absolutely nothing to do with your spouse.
Correct.
You get angry with your children.
Correct.
And your anger has nothing to do with your children. You kick the cat, you kick the dog, you're washing the dishes, you're breaking up the dishes because you are angry. However, because you did not sit, pull aside,
Correct.
and figure out, why am I angry? Why am I so upset about whatever it is? Why somebody said or what somebody did? Why am I so upset? Is it that the person embarrassed me?
Right.
Is that I feel bad?
Right.
You know, and then you have to ask yourself, why did I feel bad? Why did I feel embarrassed? Is what the person saying true? You know, you have
Right.
all those things you have to deal with.
Beautiful.
And then when you do that now, you have to decide now, does it make sense for me to be angry?
Correct.
Does it really make sense for me to be angry about this thing or about that person?
And that comes back to the analogy that you made when you said you might have asked me to do something and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so your response to my negativity, my not following through, particularly if it is something that not only did I know I should do, but I promised that I would do. You said that your response to me is very measured. So you don't come, I tell you change your thing, and you blow up and so on. You know, you're very measured in your response. And I think, when might I say it too, that is how I interact with you. I look at you, I assess the situation. There's some things that you do that drive me crazy. Crazy. Can I say it one more time?
Crazy.
Crazy.
You want to make a song with it?
Right? But I step back and I reason with myself. And I say, self, if you were to behave how you feel like behaving, how would this affect your wife? Right? So I asked that.
Yeah.
Right? How would it affect you? And then I get a sense, because I know you, and so I get a sense of how it would affect you if I did or said the negative, how I felt in a negative way. And then when after I do that, when I say how it would affect you, then I get an idea of how it would affect you, and then I realize, then meet up with myself.
Yeah,
okay?
you're having a conversation with yourself.
Yeah, there's a deep discussion.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Or
Self.
and self talking back to the other self.
Exactly.
And then I say, if when I do or say what I do or say in a negative way, you're going to react in a negative way, and then it's going to affect me again. So not only would I be affected based on this situation right now, but when I react to you in a negative way and you react to me, then I am doubly offended or right? And so that causes me now to not react or not interact with you in that